What is the best way to create social stability? This is a question that many civilizations have attempted to answer for thousands of years. Today, we are still trying to discover the best answer to this question. After studying various civilizations throughout the school year, it has become apparent that different civilizations have very different answers to this question. By seeing how various ancient civilizations answered this question, we can see what did and didn't work. We can then use this knowledge to attempt to create the best social stability possible in present day. But in order to learn from the past, we must explore civilizations with differing opinions. If you were to ask King Louis XIV this question, he would say that social stability could best be created through absolutism in a monarchy. The Athenians in Greece have a very different opinion, however. They believe that democracy was the best way to create social stability. Both the Athenians and King Louis had flaws and assets in their systems. If we learn from the mistakes and successes from the past, we can learn how to best govern our own society today. In order to do this, we must further investigate these two very different types of social order.
The Renaissance is often associated with King Louis XIV due to the fact that he is the best example of a form of government called absolutism, which gave absolute authority to the king. As in any other civilization in history, France under King Louis XIV attempted to create the best social stability. According to King Louis, the way to do so is to put all the authority in the hands of one king and give as little power as possible to anyone else. He used his officials who held their positions directly by the king to enforce his royal will. This form of government united the country, thus maintaining social stability because all citizens must abide to the will of the all-powerful king, who was supposedly blessed by God to rule. Driven by his search for power, which was a common characteristic during the Renaissance, King Louis XIV made his court the only route to power, thus becoming the center of French culture. He also portrayed himself as the Sun King, glorifying his image in order to be accepted as the ultimate ruler of France. With only one person in charge, someone with the divine authority to rule and God on their side, as he believed, there were no flaws in the system. His version of a successful kingdom relied on the idea of total control and uniformity over the citizens of his state. King Louis also exercised control over the religious beliefs of French citizens, justifying his actions with the doctrine of divine right. In one of his famous quotes, he states that he himself is the state, reinforcing the idea that he is the center of French power. His authority alone is what united the country and gave social stability. He controlled the nobility, lower classes, the economy, wars, and even religion.
Total control, however, proved inefficient soon after his death. The nobility tried to restore the previous power. Unlike absolutism, Athenian government was much more long-lasting. The reason their power held for such a long period and is used for today's time is because of majority rule and their satisfaction with the decision of their government. Majority wins, and most people will be content with the decision made. In absolutism, people would revolt against their own powerful monarch, who would eventually become corrupt by the amount and extent of his power. The monarchy in absolutism would be absolutely corrupt and can only satisfy little of the majority of citizens. Democracy differs from absolutism because people are given a choice. This type of government is the best way to create a stable system. Though it has a few flaws in voting and the voters were made up of only male citizens, overall Athenian democracy has a balance for all social classes.
The reason this is important is because the question, what is the best way to create social stability, has been asked and answered differently by all civilizations since ancient times. Out of all forms of government, we, and most countries today, believe that democracy is better than any form of monarchy such as absolutism.
Democracy gives power and equality to the people, and citizens are generally satisfied with political decisions to which they have personally contributed. In absolutism, the chances that people will revolt are much greater because the people are given no choice, as well as corruption and disregard for government duty become a problem for a single all-powerful monarch. We care because life's big questions will continue to be asked and new answers will be presented by future generations as we try our best to create social order.